You know, when I look over things, a few things have gone particularly well, and a few things remind me every day that what I'm doing matters. And I think that the biggest motivator that keeps me going and reminds me that it matters, because sometimes when things get busy you forget about that, is my great friend Rick. And his story teaches me that, you know, when you give someone hope, you know, their lives can be changed around and great change can happen. And so I think he is the biggest reason why he's the biggest thing that reminds me that what I'm doing matters. I think that I'm a very lucky person, and although there's been hard work with Ladybug Foundation, you know, homelessness it's a huge issue and it's something that must be, you know, made a change in. But you know, I think that every time I get to, you know, speak with someone, perhaps it's at an elementary school or perhaps it's at a conference like this one, I think that's a highlight because I get to learn so much from the people that I get to meet.
So some people sometimes don't know what their passion is or they can't find it. What would you say to them?
Good question. You know, when I was 5 and I first saw that man eating out of a garbage can, I don't know, the feeling was, it was a mixed feeling. It was sadness, of course, for the man. It was a little bit of anger, not at the man, but that we would let a fellow human being eat out of a garbage can. But it was kind of like a light bulb turned on, and that was when the passion was like ignited almost. And after that, I learned as much as I could about it before, you know, I started talking. I started talking to people and learning from them and things like that. So I think that it's a hard thing to explain. I think it's that light bulb feeling when you figure it out.
But how do people recognize the light bulb?
I think that when you see something and it really, you know, I guess this expression you use, it hits home, or it's a certain feeling in your heart. I think you know it when you feel it. But after that, you know, when you find that passion, it's like breathing and it never stops, and that's when you know for sure it's a passion. Some of the challenges that I've been faced with and some of the lessons that I've learned, you know, something that I realized is the more and more I learned about homelessness, the more and more I realized something had to be done and change had to be made. And, you know, challenges, I guess, a few of them personally when I was younger. You know, when I would go away, I would feel homesick, that kind of thing. But you know, at least I had a home to feel sick about. You know, I think that it's been hard work, but it's been good work. And you know, I don't see them really as challenges. I see them as opportunities to do better, and opportunities to make more change.
And what have you learned in school that's helped you?
Well, I'm very lucky. I go to a beautiful school, and it feels like the right kind of school for me. And you know, in school, in school and at home, I've never learned that I couldn't do something, no matter how old I was. I've never been taught that there were boundaries. So I think that just the way I was brought up, that kind of thing, I never learned that I couldn't do something. I think that my take on, you know, how people label ages and how there's that idea that your age can define what you can do. I think that there's no age that defines, you know, when you can make change, whether you're 5 or 65. You know, there's lots of change to be made, and there's, you know, the human heart, it's a beautiful thing, and it has the capacity to do so much, whether you're 5 or 65. So, you can never not do something. You know, the beginning part's sometimes hard. You know, when I first started doing what I was doing, first I learned as much as I could about it, and that was the biggest thing. I talked to people who were 10, and I talked to people who were older and who were, you know, businessmen and in Winnipeg, that kind of thing. So I don't think that there is no specific age when you can make change. I think that it doesn't matter what age you are.